Hello everybody, welcome back. Jim here, coming at you once again from my Tokyo apartment, relaxing, drinking some beer, and carrying on answering some viewer-submitted questions. And last time I answered a question from Alex Imam, who wanted to know what are some things I miss about life in the United States of America. And this is a follow-up question to that. He also wanted to know what are some things I missed about life in Japan the last time I was living in the U.S. Because if you have been watching my channel for a while now, you might recall a time when I went back to the United States for about a year. I was living in the town of Del Rio, Texas, which is, I'd say it's between 2 and 3 hour drive from San Antonio. It's about 10 minutes from the border, and it's a pretty small town. And I was living there for about a year before I made the move back to Japan. And there were indeed a lot of things I missed about Japan in general, and Tokyo specifically, while I was there in Del Rio. And don't get me wrong, Del Rio was, you know, pretty cool in its own way. One, it was a really affordable place to live. I saved a ton of money, and the food was excellent. The barbecue I ate there and all the Mexican food. I put on a little bit of weight while I was living there in Del Rio, I don't mind telling you. But yeah, there was a lot of stuff I missed about Japan, so I'm going to go ahead and rattle off some of those things. Any viewers I have who have lived in Japan or do or have visited Japan and then left and missed things about it, you might be able to relate to some of this stuff, and I'd certainly love to hear from you in the comments. What are some things you missed about Japan after you came and went? First of all, and this is funny because the last time I was talking about how much I sometimes miss food in the United States, and specifically food in southern Louisiana where I'm from. When I am in the States for an extended period of time, I actually miss the food here as well, because like I said, there's a ton of awesome food in Japan. I like Japanese food, but again, in Tokyo, there's not really any kind of food that you can't find if you don't want it. And there's just something about, I mean, you could be anywhere at any time, and you know that if you walk in one direction, any given direction for, you know, whatever, you know, 5-10 minutes, you're probably going to run across a ramen shop, a ramen restaurant, which is, it makes a man feel good to know that you can just walk in any one direction and find some ramen. Because I don't know if I want to say like I'm a ramen connoisseur, but I definitely like my ramen, all flavors, all ingredients, all the time. And there's a bajillion ramen places in Tokyo. Really, I guess anywhere you go in Japan, there's just going to be ramen out the wazoo. In each area, each region has its own specific kind that I guess it's well known for. I mean, I've had sweet potato ramen in, oh geez, this one area I can't remember. They called it kind of like a little Edo or something, because there's a lot of Edo period stuff there. When I went up to Sapporo, I had this really amazing miso ramen. You know, just tonkatsu ramen is something, you know, I love it. I eat it as much as I can, as many slices of pork as I can get in there. And then just a myriad of other kinds of food. One that I really like a lot, and I realize it's of Korean origin, not Japanese, but yakiniku, which is I guess like the Korean style barbecue. But I try to go to yakiniku as much as possible, and I stuff myself. I load up on just meat and kimchi and rice and whatever else is available. Not a whole lot of yakiniku down in Del Rio, Texas, I'm afraid. And then I like sushi, I like sashimi, I like tonkatsu, and you know, other various Japanese foods. And again, all the other types of things I like to eat here in the city. No shortage of Italian, French, Indian. I hadn't really eaten Indian food until I came to Japan, and now I'm a confirmed Indian food addict. Great place near my apartment called Kumar, where I go there all the time to get the garlic naan and some chicken masala. It is the bomb. But yeah, anyway, food, all the different kinds of foods. I couldn't get in Del Rio, and for the most part can't really get when I'm at home either. As great as the food is in my hometown, lots of mom and pop Cajun restaurants and things like that. Not really a whole lot of foreign foods there. I mean, there's like the Chinese buffet, but that about does it. So yeah, I definitely miss some of the foods I have access to when I'm in Japan that I didn't when I was at home. Something else I definitely missed, and this goes with Tokyo in particular. I just like Del Rio, really small town, not a lot going on. My hometown, another one that's pretty small, not much going on there. I think the population there, it's about 11,000, and it can get pretty boring. You gotta leave, and you gotta go to New Orleans or Lafayette or somewhere if you want to have, you know, some stuff to do. In Tokyo though, no limit of things to do. Just if you want to entertain yourself, if I want to just go walk down the street, go to the arcade, go to some book offs or something, or just go get on the train, go somewhere, go to a movie theater, go to any kind of restaurant I want, any kind of bar I want. If I want to call up some friends and we'll go hit a karaoke place, or if I want to go to a live bar and go take in some live music. I mean, there's not really any limit to the kinds of things I can do in Tokyo. It's a really big city, lots of stuff to do. It's very exciting sometimes and very fun, and that's really lacking. And like in my hometown, like this probably, you know, for people that you know, watch my channel or will listen to this, and you live somewhere in the US or in Europe or somewhere where you live in a major metropolitan area, I mean, maybe you can get it. Maybe if you grew up in a large city, New York, Chicago, LA, London, Paris, wherever, you're accustomed to living in a big city, and so maybe it's not such a big deal. But growing up as a kid in a small town, I had really thought it would always be cool to live in a big city and just have so much to do, because I was so often bored. You know, I spent a lot of time as a kid, you know, just watching TV and playing video games. Not that I don't like doing those things, but there probably were a lot of times in my life where I would have rather been going out and doing something else, doing something a little more social, but just didn't really have all the opportunities in the world to do that. So I did definitely miss just being in Tokyo and doing all the fun things that I like to do on any given night. You know, some weekends I go out and party, and sometimes I don't even wait for the weekend. I just go out and party anyway. Party all the time, every day, like Andrew WK. And going along with that, another thing I said that I missed about being home is there's a familiarity. It feels good to be somewhere where you know where you are, you know where everything is, you know where everyone is. You don't stand out like a sore thumb, and just everything is familiar to you. And I guess that feels good. But at the same time, sometimes I miss unfamiliarity. See, I'm a paradox like that. I'm using a big word to sound smart, but you know, you miss unfamiliarity. You miss being somewhere where you don't have the tightest grasp on what's always going on. Maybe some things are surprising to you. Sometimes it's fun to just get on the train, go in whatever direction, and just get off at a random stop somewhere with no real plan, and just sort of get lost for a little while and see what you can find, and that's fun. And there's a certain I don't know, I guess that's just the word. There's a certain fun in the unfamiliarity sometimes, especially since, I mean, it goes hand in hand with the fact that Tokyo is like a very safe city in terms of crime rates, where you can do, you know, something like that. You can go pretty much anywhere in the city, you know, get off the train and go see what you can see, and you can feel pretty safe doing that. I mean, I know there are places in the world, I mean, I said I'm from Louisiana. New Orleans isn't really a place I would probably do that. I wouldn't just wander off in some random direction and, hey, let's just see what pops up. No, I'm probably just gonna like go to Bourbon Street, the French Quarter, and then that's about it. But in Tokyo, you can kind of do that. You can kind of just go wherever and hang out and just see what's going on, like Four Non-Blondes. And that's cool. That unfamiliarity and the kind of excitement, the exploration that comes with that, that's very cool. And again, that just goes with how clean and safe it is. That was one of the things I missed. Because Del Rio, nice town, sort of a little bit of a little crummy, a little bit of a criminal element there. Not gonna lie, there are some areas of town where you don't want to go. I had to go through there when on my way to like physical therapy. It was kind of shitty. And also, not to speak ill of someone else's town, my own hometown, which I like a lot. It's where I'm from. It's where I grew up. Not the safest town in the world. Like I said, small town, but it was recently featured on like Dr. Oz because there are a whole shit ton of unsolved murders and nobody knows what the hell's going on. Not the safest place in the world. Definitely certain areas of my town where I'm just like, hell no, I'm not setting foot in there. I'm a grown man. And, you know, I'm not afraid to admit that I will not go there because I am afraid of being shot or some other such nonsense. So, you know, Tokyo, very safe place. The neighborhood I live in now is awesome. I live in like, it's sort of like a picturesque suburb, you know. It's nice. Like I go out for a walk at any time and there's like a little park near my house and all day long, every day, there are people walking their dogs, or there's like old people out for walks, and moms pushing babies in strollers, and everything is just nice and clean and picturesque, and it's awesome. And I haven't lived in a lot of places like that, so I like how clean and safe Tokyo is in general, and the area I live in. It's nice. I sort of missed that when I was back in Jennings, Louisiana, and Del Rio, Texas. And just going along with that, just Japan in general, I like it here. I'm not gonna say it's better than America or America's better than Japan because I don't play the nationalism stuff. Not into collectivism. You know, I like to think be proud of what you do, not what you are. But I like it here a lot. The culture, the people who can be extremely just sweet, kind, and accommodating. Yeah, just when I'm not here, I miss those things. It's kind of like my dad would have this thing he always said, because he was a soldier, and he was gone oftentimes. He would deploy and things like that. And he used to say, wherever my feet hit the ground is home. And I don't think I'm quite like my dad in that regard. But I do sort of feel like I have two homes now. One where it's always been my home, and I fit right in there, and one which has become more of a home recently, and I kind of stick out like a sore thumb, but that's okay because I'm still pretty comfortable anyway. And you know, it's got its pros, it's got its cons. I've done a lot of traveling by this point. I've traveled around Europe a bit. I've been to the Middle East and around Asia and North America, and so I can safely say that pretty much everywhere I've gone has its pros and cons. A big part of what makes a place livable is the people, and people in general, regardless of what language they speak or what they look like. People in general are pretty cool, and I've really appreciated that on my travels in my life. So if you come across a foreigner in your lands, a traveler, someone who isn't totally familiar, be kind to them. Take care of them, watch out for them. I'm sure they'll appreciate it. They might even need it. And those are some things that I missed about Japan last time I was in the United States. And what can I say? When I'm in Japan, I miss home. And when I'm home, I miss Japan. I guess there's just no pleasing me. Anyway, thanks again, Alex, for your questions. Excellent questions, non-gaming related, because I answer a lot of gaming related stuff, but sometimes it's nice to just talk about life stuffs, whatever. So thanks, Alex, for asking your questions. I hope you enjoyed the answers, and that extends to all of you as well, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you enjoyed listening to me ramble on. If you have any questions for me, any questions at all, you can always feel free to put them down in the comments, or contact me on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, all that usual stuff. I'm always happy to converse with people, and if you got an intriguing question for me, I'll be sure to answer it in a future video, which I always enjoy doing. Anyway, again, thanks everybody for listening. I'll see you next time. Take care, everybody. Goodbye.